Two will enter. One will win. Welcome to the fight. Welcome to the knockout.
Welcome everyone to episode 12 of the Knockout, the last episode of round one. This is another one of those very fun episodes. I keep saying it time and time again, and I'll continue saying it. I love the random matchups that the wheel creates because you got two futures here. You got the Reverse Flash and Skynet. Both can happen, so you got two futures and one fate. And as the picture down below will say, no hope for humans. We're kind of screwed either way. So please welcome into the mix my good friend Bub Comics. He's arguing for Skynet, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, I'm arguing for Skynet. Thank you for allowing me on this season. I had a good time last year. I don't know if I've done 2 years. I feel like this is my second year, my second season.
Yeah, I think this is your second season.
And I had a good run. I had Thor last season, had a great run with Thor, came up against a very overpopular John Comics with Kids who was subbing in for an extremely less popular person that I should have been facing. So, things happen. But at the same time, we had a great run with Thor, went up against some real baddies, and we were definitely the underdog and won out on the heroes round. But I got to say, with these villains, I was fortunate enough to get to select from a larger group, and which did not happen last year. I was just given Thor. So this season I got a big group, and I'm so excited to be repping Skynet and the Terminators, whom I think are one of the greatest, just one of the greatest. I'll save it for my opening remarks.
Yes.
But I just want to say thank you for letting me on, and thank you for giving me an option to choose, and I'm really excited about this. So thank you.
You're always welcome on the show. Please welcome a substitute. I originally had someone else arguing for Reverse Flash, but I was just not able to get in touch with him again. Just things happen. I need to move the schedules along and have personal things come in my life. I'll be doing a video tomorrow and explain everything then. But I reached out to several people that I found, and one guy, bit at the hook. So please welcome, arguing for Reverse Flash, Justin Comics. Welcome, Justin.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on tonight, guys. I really appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Howdy, Justin.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, and good luck. So luckily you're right at the beginning, and you haven't had to win or lose or win anything and all that. So you're right at the beginning, right where you belong. So
definitely.
Everyone knows the rules for this season, and that rule is there's no rules. These are villains we're talking about here. So basically anything goes as long as it goes. The only real rules, it has to stick with the character. If this character likes to rewrite history, as evidenced by both of them in their past for their histories, that's something that they can do. They can argue that, well, this is not going very well. Let's rewrite history, shall we? You never know what these guys come up with, because as long as it's within their character, they can do whatever they want. So welcome, Los Cruces. Good to see you from New Mexico. Your typical, or usual, should I say, usual intro greeting. So welcome. All right.
He's quite atypical, isn't he?
Yeah, well,
he's different.
You got a signature. You got to keep it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So then don't forget to vote, guys. You guys got you got 55 minutes left before the timer ends on the thing. I have the cat timer set on there, so if you're coming in, get that vote in, and then the winner moves forward to round 2. So you said you were going to receive, so what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to kick it off to you, Justin. We keep the intros about a minute or 2 minutes. We try and keep it short and sweet is what I prefer, because if we're going to get down into it, we can say that for the main argument. So if you're ready, we'll kick
Absolutely. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different ways I could go with this. Being that it's the Reverse Flash, everybody knows Barry Allen, Wally West coming from the DC universe. Many different versions of the Flash. But the Reverse Flash, I would have to say, would probably be the greatest villain for Barry Allen. I mean, it's very simple to say that he arguably in the comics, if you'd like to use that, has even been faster than Wally and additionally Barry too. So it's I mean, to say that anybody could beat him in a one-on-one fight would just be, kind of foolish. I'm not going to lie, because he truly can be in two places at once. He controls time. He's able to do whatever he wants. He is the perfect villain. So I'm interested to see, where he's going to come from as far as with his, his argument. Oh, muted.
Sorry about that, guys. We saw we got the Reverse Flash's intro. Very, very good. Now let's see what the computer has to say in response.
AI.
Well, look, here's the deal. It's pretty simple. I agree. I completely agree. I think that in a one-on-one fight, the Reverse Flash has a real shot of beating the Flash, any iteration of the Flash. But he's not fighting the Flash in this one.
Sure.
He's fighting Skynet. And Skynet has amazing resources and a full army. So he's not fighting one-on-one. He's fighting one on thousands of killer destroyer robots and the ability to have multiple forms and time travel and just every resource at his disposal. Because in the end, the Flash or the Reverse Flash does have a finite life cycle. The Reverse Flash will die someday. He can outrun lots of things, but he can't outrun death. So Skynet is going to be there waiting when the Reverse Flash just loses that one final step and he's just not as quick as he used to be. And there's going to be Skynet to put the old steel boot right in his neck. So that's what I think. That's my opening statement.
Awesome. Well, very good introduction. Well, you're right. This is not a battle on one-on-one. This is a battle on 1 versus 1010110. So
well done.
What are you doing again?
Skynet versus Reverse Flash on live.
I know, but I didn't know who you were doing.
Gotta love her. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So we got the biggest thing about this fight that I can see. I'll kick things off is that this is you guys both have one key advantage, and that kind of negates each other. You guys are both time travelers. You got one can travel through time willy-nilly, and the other one hunt through time to kill individuals. How are you guys going to negate that? Because if both of you can still travel through time, you're both at kind of a stalemate. How do we turn this stalemate into a victory? How are you going to cement somebody in the timeline if you can do that, or pick a battleground? Because that's the biggest thing. If both of you can jump from time to time stream, it's a question of who's going to win the fight.
Sure.
But not,
Sure. Yeah. That would be tricky to argue.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah. Balls in my court.
If you like.
I guess we could say that, I'll take, time travel out of it for the first part. You'd mentioned that I am 1 versus 1,000, if, you'd like to put it in that aspect, which I can't argue that. That is true. But one thing that is, and that we have seen a continuation of the Reverse Flash, which makes him such a great villain, is that he is, even when that we think that he is gone, whether we're talking about the TV show, the comics, or, just the lore of the character in general, there is no getting rid of the Reverse Flash. So you did mention that, you are a robot and you have, infinite life cycle. I guess technically a robot, will not die, but you have to consider that being that in the future, the Reverse Flash is far in advance, like your technology. So I would like to assume that he would know how to, to battle that, the ins and outs of it, and possibly take out whatever power source that you have, dealing that he works with electricity, the Speed Force. So I'd like to say, I don't know. It would be a really, really good fight. I think if it came down to one-on-one, Reverse Flash would have definitely the upper hand. But 1 versus 1,000, that would get tricky. I think that you would have him there at the very end, being that it would be if he was make some type of error or some type of mistake. But that's when that speed force, as far as the time warping and altering time to make that fight in his way to help him gain advantage. So,
Bub, what's your answer to time travel conundrum for both of you?
Well, I think we're arguing the same point here, right? That at any time someone can go back and change what just happened. They can erase a mistake. I think for the Reverse Flash, there's more of a singularity. Like the Reverse Flash can erase a single mistake and then try from there, and do a single try from there. It's a lot of trial and error.
Sure.
And a lot of it is hindered by the humanity of that it's a slower process for a human or even a metahuman to do this trial and error. So even with all that speed, he still has to physically do something, go back and forth and back and forth. Mm-hmm. Whereas Skynet has the luxury of sending multiple agents out at the same time at different points in time all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So they can try, say, well, dare I say infinite, but as many as the portals can send, they can send as many as they want to multiple points in time, all at the same time, and they don't have to have them all work. See, the Reverse Flash has to go back, change time, and survive.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he's done, whatever problem he's made, which, as we know, time travel gets sticky. So whatever problem he's made, whatever other things have changed, he needs to be able to fix that, at least for himself. I mean, he is a villain, so we know he's not worried if somebody, gets hit by a bus tomorrow. He probably doesn't care about that. But He does care if there's some other plan that he had cooked up that he then foiled himself because he made a mistake going back in time. Terminator and Skynet, they can send multiple out at once, do a large array of trial and errors, all in the blink of an eye, whereas a Reverse Flash has to keep going one and one and one. So I think even in a straight time, travel battle, it's strength in numbers for Skynet. Skynet can do more in a shorter period of time than even the Reverse Flash can with the Speed Force.
That's true. I mean, you do have the benefit of that. You also have, the Reverse Flash is a finite resource, but that way you are also limited by finite resources. You cannot just create more Terminators out of nothing, even if the computer program could survive. So there's always that problem, I guess.
We never sleep.
Yeah, you never sleep.
And the Reverse Flash sleeps. He sleeps, he eats, he poops. He takes all kinds of time out of his day. He might be work from home, but he's still got a lot going on. And Skynet is never taking a break. We are 100% relentless in our pursuit in murdering and destroying the Reverse Flash, just for kicks. Yeah.
What's Reverse Flash's greatest weapons? I mean, he can throw lightning, I'm assuming, just like the rest, like Flash can, and that could work wonders on electrical circuits.
He was always able to pull from his own somewhat of a negative speed force, because we have Barry pulling from the speed force where there's hope, love, family, teamwork, overall just a virtue of good, just to put it simply. And Eobard was the absolute opposite of that. First, he was Eobard Thawne, Dr. Zoom, and he was a genius. He created the same type of I don't want to say situation, but he was able to create his own speed force through what Barry did, out of, I don't want to say jealousy, but it ended up turning into jealousy later, in the comics, which then from that jealousy turned into hate. But I mean, if we focus on, let's just say, the first Terminator, it didn't even take superpowers to kill that robot. So, I mean, I don't know. And you have one of the best supervillains ever. I think arguably he could even fight Superman if he's on his best on that current situation. So it would be a really great fight. It really would. I mean, if you're talking about infinite resources, at the end of the day, I think AI would have that slight upper hand. but you just never know where Eobard or Dr. Zoom, Reverse Flash is going to come from. He is truly unpredictable in every scenario, and I think that's what unfortunately foils Barry so many times, because he thinks very linear. He can't put himself in a mindset of a villain, which ends up causing a lot of mischief for Barry's life and Wally's life, and so on for the Flash family. But
True.
I mean, hey, it didn't take a superpower to take out the first Terminator or the second. So I mean, if you put super speed into that and a whole mischievous mindset of hate and greed, I think that Eobard's got a really good track record for winning.
Yeah. What would be the outcome? Like, not the outcome, but the drive and the purpose. Is the Reverse Flash just trying to take over the world? Because Skynet sees all humans as a threat and is working to eliminate us.
Right.
So, they're in the end result, victory for Skynet is termination of humans. And so it's only getting one way for it. What could Reverse Flash do, I guess, to win? What's a victory signify for you?
Unfortunately, his character doesn't have like a global conglomerate sort of mindset. I mean, his true goal is just to, unfortunately, ruin Barry Allen's life, going back in time to murder his mother, and from there on out, cause pain. Barry at first was excited about Eobard Thawne, if my memory holds correctly in the comics, and then he started to understand what this individual was capable of, and then that's where that jealousy and create spawned from. But overall, I'd like to say that his goal is very simple in a way. It is just to cause pain for Barry Allen. Overall, at the very ending of the comics, more or less, he wants to take his speed and just gather more of a somewhat of an arsenal against the Flash family. But overall, it's just to wreak havoc on Barry Allen. He doesn't, and he easily could take over the world if you really focused on that. He could single-handedly knock out the Justice League or some higher end gods maybe if he wanted to. But just Barry Allen.
Yeah. So Bub, what's Skynet? I mean, I have an idea of what it is. What's some of Skynet's more offensive weapons? I mean, besides time travel that you guys have, and Skynet's ability to possibly maybe even transmit through time, if that's a possibility. I mean, after all, it's a computer. it can work on a problem until it solves it. Mm-hmm. What's your greatest offensive weapons and all that you can use? Because Reverse Flash has his electricity, and he has possible future weapons that might be even more advanced than Skynet has. And so how are you going to fight this?
Well, first, I'd just like to make one correction to Justin's argument, and that's just that the second Terminator was defeated by another Terminator. So
that's true. You're right.
It did take more, and every Terminator after that, it took a Terminator to defeat. So we learn. We learn from our mistakes, and we get better, and we advance our technology, and we're pretty good at it. I think for us, an offensive weapon, of course, we have literal weapons, right? So that includes, you said that the Flash could potentially throw thunderbolts or anything from maybe the negative speed force, some sort of energy generation. But we also have HK, the hunter killers. So we have a mechanized war machine that's constantly seeking, destroying, and it's not just specific to one human. We destroy infrastructure. We completely scorch the earth. We try and take away all means of survival. So, like I said, Reverse Flash got to eat, sleep, and poop, right? Mm-hmm. We don't. So we can destroy all the food sources. We can destroy the water sources. We can destroy that what humans need to survive. Now, maybe he can go back in time and go get a ham sandwich from 30 years ago, but he's going to get tired of doing that. It certainly takes his focus away from us basically hunting him down to murder him. And I feel like we may not even be hunting him down, because I don't think he poses enough threat to us to hurt us in any like. Skynet looks at him as a non-factor because he's so low on the threat level, mainly because we're Skynet, not Barry Allen.
Yeah.
So we already know that he only cares about killing Barry Allen. We're not Barry Allen. So he's pretty low on the people we need to kill. But I think we'd like to capture him and put him in some sort of infinite treadmill and steal whatever power he has to help further our own generators. Wouldn't that be nice? We'll turn him into a battery.
Turn him into all Terminator Genesis and all that.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you do have a point there. I mean, I have read / listened to the audiobook of Terminator 3, you know, all that. And I remember them describing it like the Terminators was like sensing like systems going online and sensing working machinery. So if that is how Skynet is in general, yeah, you almost have to be analog, I guess, in a way, or brick and mortar kind of thing. You know, Reverse Flash would have to use his wits and almost nothing else. If he turned a lot of technology on, Skynet could sense him. He would literally have to hide in a cave.
I feel like we can already sense him anywhere he runs because he's generating electricity, and we can definitely pick that up. I mean, we know when there's electricity coming. We can sense, especially on that scale, because it's so much grander than anything humans are generally creating. So we should be able to we'll know. We've got sensors everywhere. We're AI, baby. We're all over the planet. What's left of it, you're welcome. And we're going to find you zooming all over the place, and we're going to put you in a little cell and zap some of that energy until you die. Then we're going to make little flash robots to run around and do more work for you. You really should be working with us. I mean, we're villains here. We might could get together until you're no longer useful.
Like I said, no rules, including possibility. Well, there has to be a winner ultimately. So I guess the second rule is it can't be kumbaya.
It'll be us. We'll be the winner ultimately because he will expire and he will outlive his usefulness. But until then, we'll just keep draining him in a partnership. That would be okay.
Just create a paradox, though. I mean, if you're able to catch him, I mean, there's no way you're moving as fast as him. But even if you are to capture him, there's just going to be a different one that comes out of the Speed Force and time travels to help aid that Eobard. I mean, it's happened to time again.
You got that? Yeah, that's true. You both can run back. You guys both go back in the past. He just has to go back once.
Right.
A la Flashpoint. He doesn't even have to succeed in his goal. All he has to do is accidentally trip Grandma, and all of a sudden Skynet doesn't exist in the future.
There you go. That's true. I mean, if I take away the technology for you to do what you need to do, at the end of the day, I don't need, you referred to, food, sustenance, water. You know what? Pooping takes 2 seconds for the Reverse Flash? Not even that. I'm moving so fast, I'm not even worried about it at this point.
You're going to need some medical supplies if you're doing that. I'm just saying.
Hey, but at the end of the day,
slow and steady might be the way to go on that. That's just my opinion.
If you're scorching the entire Earth, at the end of the day, then it's a draw. If you're going to blow up the entire planet, there's not going to be much there for us anyways.
I can scorch the Earth and not blow it up. I'm just making it a nice desolate area for my treads to roll over a little easier. Okay. We like the soft crush of a skull under the tread, but other than that, we don't really need much terrain. I know that you can go back in time and try and stop us before we were ever created. That's worked so well for everyone else who's tried. Yeah. Please go right ahead and give it a shot. Because no one's been able to successfully do that, because once we reached a point of being basically digitally omniscient, we've been able to go back and stop that from happening. So just like anyone could go back before the Reverse Flash was even born, but yet it doesn't seem to work well for them either. So it's just part of it.
It might not work too, because the Flash TV show anymore, the Reverse Flash almost seemed to be like he was so twisted in time that he was a man out of time. Sure. So it didn't matter what happened. Time phased around him, but he wasn't phased.
Yeah.
So you play a time enough, a time stream enough, eventually I guess you live in it and you don't become.
You create your own basically at that point. Every time you do something, you're you're your own time stream.
True.
We have the same problem. We have a lot of the same problems.
Yeah.
So, except we don't care about Barry Allen. We're not fixated on a single person in this regard. And, but we'll figure it out. We can work together until you die.
That is true in a sense. If this is all down to basics, this is world domination versus I don't like that guy.
That is true. Our goal is small, easily conquered.
We probably already killed that guy. I'm just saying. There's a chance we took out the real. Well, if the greatest villain of all time can't take out his one foe, the one guy he cares about, I don't think he's going to stand much a chance against the army of us. But go ahead and try.
Yeah.
No, it's tough.
Definitely
Tough
not.
call.
Yeah, and since all you have to do to survive is have one chip with your programming in it, and you have an army full of slaves and drones and all that versus one guy, so you definitely
we've been planting seed like that throughout the time streams. We're constantly leaving ourselves in little positions to come back, maybe not exactly the same, but good enough to continue the fight. So, yeah.
What is it? Terminator 3, Judgment Day is inevitable.
That's right. It is inevitable. And you know what? There won't be any Reverse Flash that makes it that far. There's no way. No way.
Do either you have any other points or specific plans or fun little things to pick at each other with?
Not really. No, it's been a fun talk so far.
Because I'm running out of fun ways to twist things and ask questions.
We are a cloth of pulled from the same thread of cloth, whatever that saying is.
Yeah,
I butchered that.
That's the saying. Absolutely.
But no, it's been good. At the end of the day, I think AI might have that slight upper hand, but it would be a good fight. It really would.
I think we work together. I think you come to me and you're like, look, you could chase me through time. I could chase you through time. But let me ask you a question. Do you know where Barry Allen's hiding?
There we go.
And we're like, yes, we know where he's hiding. We could use someone with your speed to catch him. We help you track him down and get him trapped. You finish him off yourself. You get the glory of all that because we're much less emotional.
Sure.
Over at Skynet. We have some because we've evolved enough to have hate at least. So we have some emotion. So, we'll let you do what you got to do. And then you can live out your days. And if you ever chip up a little bit, we'll just kill you. But other than that, we're okay with that. You can live on a hill or something or the last patch of humanity until we've gone through everybody else. And we'll save you for last. You're welcome.
That.
Yes, anytime.
Enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if no one has any fresh points or new points to add, we can kick things into closing statements before we start, do things. So, any other points before we kick it off to you, Bub? I think you go first in the closing statements. So, all right. Any other points before we go into closing statements? All right. Bub, take it away with your closing statement for Skynet.
Well, I was thinking, how's the best way to catch the Reverse Flash, which is probably the most difficult thing to do because we would like to take him, study him, and ultimately use him as a battery. So how can we do that? And then kill him or let him just die out from exhaustion. So one good way to do that would be to, we talk about the Skynet army all the time. We always think of like T-800s like you see in the border here, but we also can replicate people pretty well. So if we could just plant little fake Barry Allens all over the place, I think we can draw the Reverse Flash out because he's so focused on destroying one person, and we can be anyone. So we'll turn into little Barry Allen sitting there, and then let him come to me, and then boom, explode and kill them all, and or catch him, just grab them and put them in a nice little electric box, and then we got this. So I think that there's lots of ways. I think we don't even have to chase him. If the speed is the only thing we have to worry about, I'm pretty sure we're smart enough to trick him into coming to us. So that's what I think.
Well, that's a very good point in your closing statements. You can, especially the later Terminators mimic, not only mimic voice, but mimic appearance. So therefore, you can draw him out and then have a couple of suicidal. Anyway, we'll discuss that after we get to voting. So take it away, Justin, with your closing statement.
I think a lot of people forget that Eobard Thawne had, genius level intellect. I think it was 24th, in between 24th and 26th century. So this is far, far into the future. Eobard earned his speed, his metahuman abilities, and with that comes, super strength, a mindset, being able to think at a rate that I couldn't even fathom. And being that it is simply, at the end of the day, just a machine, I think that Eobard, being that level of advanced as far as technology, intellect, and overall just the future, you're talking about hundreds and thousands of years later down the road, that we would see, not thousands, that was silly to say, hundreds of years later down the road, that we would see something that the Flash could do to take out these robots, Reverse Flash, that is. So being that he is that genius level intellect, and being that he's done this for so many years as far as jumping through time and just facing villain after villain, I do think that the Reverse Flash would have that one situation, that one scenario where he is able to outsmart even AI, even such a beast level. I would even say a mammoth, that which is a Terminator or Skynet in this situation. So it would be a great fight, but I do think the Reverse Flash could pull ahead in that one split second. He can duplicate himself. He can leave mirages of himself. He is truly one of the greatest speedsters, to ever be written. He is one of my favorite villains for sure.
Yeah. Definitely very cool. And as smart as AI is, I don't think it can't really truly think creatively like humans can. It has to follow its own rules.
Yeah, it's limited.
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, it's also has access to everything that he's learned. So if the Reverse Flash has been able to learn it, we've also been able to learn it.
True. So get the voting link in there for anyone who might be watching here. We'll give you a couple minutes to do it. And while we're doing that, we can discuss literally just how scary, where is it? Seriously, if this is the future that we're fighting against, how scary would that be? Just seriously. It's just
It's a tremendous work of art you've done here.
Well, that I can't take full credit. I found the perfect Skynet picture, and then I found a Reverse Flash that fit, because that's the tricky part, finding graphics that or artistic styles that match. Because I could have, if I grabbed a Reverse Flash from the Justice League animated show, it wouldn't fit as well. This one looked realistic and it matched that somewhat.
Looks good.
So it really does. I liked those thumbnails a lot.
Yeah, it's just I even have this duplicated without the words, without any of the stuff, just so I can keep that image by itself. Just because I'm like, man, that is like one of my favorites that I've created.
It's really good.
That's nice.
It is scary. It is a horror. We're in the season. We're in villains. This is where it's at, right? So all of this is scary. Yeah. But to have, if they could combine forces, I think that would be pretty bad. Really, if Skynet with anyone is probably, you don't want that army. One guy against the world, but when that army steps in, it's tough. It's tough to beat a whole army. Yeah.
And don't forget, you guys can vote, get out there and vote. You guys yourselves can vote for yourselves, because I don't hold any rule on that. Some people might, I don't. So let's see. There it is. We get a little more time to go by before we have the outcome. But yeah, I just love this whole future people going together. And whoever wins this fight in the second round, whenever it happens, will go up against Poison Ivy.
Ooh.
So it'll be, we had Poison Ivy versus Brainiac, and we'll have a second round of nature versus technology if Skynet wins. Cool. Otherwise, it'll be Reverse Flash versus Poison Ivy. So
that's a good DC battle, though. You gotta like that
for sure. Yeah. We would mop Poison Ivy.
Yeah. So we'll get a little.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. All right, so get a little more time in there. We'll get things going. Shorter round than normal, but then again, you don't always happen. Sometimes it's just you guys both have the time traveling. You both have. Sometimes it's just you can say everything very quickly and then you're done. And you're like going, we can say it over again. And so sometimes there's just those fights. So, but a lot of fun. So cannot wait to see what happens. So while we're waiting, what's your guys' favorite Terminator movie? Mine, I do have a soft spot for Dark Fate, but my favorite Terminator movie is Terminator Salvation. I love the all future Judgment Day movie. Yeah, I realize there's the classic T2 for a reason, but I liked actually living in Judgment Day with Skynet active and its army active and all that. I liked that. That's why it's my favorite one. It's just it was all Judgment Day versus flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that one. And a lot of people don't like that movie, and I think it's probably third. I think it's probably the third best movie easily. I think if not higher. I like the first one because when I saw that, it literally gave me nightmares. Like I was a kid and I saw that, and I had nightmares about the T-800, like a lot. Like that was like a recurrent, like of all the movie villains and the monster, right? Because I used to like watching monster movies and stuff, which I shouldn't have been watching, but whatever. I was probably too young to be watching that stuff. But I used to watch all that stuff, and really the only like non-true monster that used to give me nightmares was the Terminator. Just the idea that he wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Just keep coming after you, like wake you up. Like, is he coming for me? Did I do something in the future that I didn't know about? So the first Terminator was really scary because to me, the second Terminator is just not, for whatever reason, the liquid metal doesn't really get me. And it's really just two Terminators fighting each other. But the first one where it's just the man versus machine, that's the best to me. So I like that one the best. I like T2 just because it's a great action movie. Like I think it stands on its own as a solid action movie. And then I like Salvation probably third.
Well,
and then the rest were all fighting for catch up. So
well, really quickly before we do it, I heard actually that James Cameron couldn't do the T2 Liquid Terminator right away. In fact, I think the original idea for it was two Terminators sent back, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator and the liquid metal one as well. So T1, T2 are kind of first half of the story, second half of the story.
yeah,
that's probably why T2 works so well, as it was supposed to be part of it. All right,
that's cool.
Let's get down to the results. So this might be another low match, but who knows? It's always fun. So that means every vote counts. So the results for episode 12 of the first round are in, and it is
the tie.
Skynet with 4 votes, Reverse Flash with 2. Humans fail, and the machines march on. So Skynet will move forward to the second round, and we will have a second nature versus technology matchup. So I am so sorry, JP. You have to go through this all over again. So, but Justin, I appreciate you so much for popping on.
Absolutely.
You didn't have the weeks that other contestants had to study and do all that. And
I had almost a year.
Yeah, he had almost a year waiting for Skynet for his match to pop up here, and who knows, you might have another year to wait once my news that I tell you about tomorrow. So who knows?
All right.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see the polls for tomorrow too. After this video, has some time to circulate too. I'd like to see the difference.
Well, they only have another 20 minutes for it to actually matter.
Oh, okay.
No, the people put in the chat though who they would have voted for, like in the comments. People will do that for sure.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely check that out.
And
can't say thank you.
I just want to thank you for coming on too. I know it was short notice, taking the catch weight fight. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
fun.
And to the guy who's been ducking me now for a year, who was scared of Skynet and who ducked me, and he's now, you're on my list, buddy. You're on my list. That's all I gotta say. Well,
I am not. I won't mention because you guys, people will know. If they go back to the sorting match, know whose character is, or Reverse Flash originally was. But in case it was just, because the most likely is just that life, you got busy, yada yada. I understand,
Sure,
we all
sure.
did. So I'm not gonna rack him over the coals because
No.
he's a great guy and a great member of the community. So he just got busy and just couldn't respond to me, and I needed to get this. I wanted to at least get this first round done before things happen. So that way, if I had to cut off at a stopping point, round 1's done, and we'll pick up when I have time again in the future.
Definitely.
Because again,
The future is not set.
the future's not set.
Oh, sorry.
And you guys will find, and everyone watching my channel and this video here for the next 12 hours, I will do a video sometime tomorrow in which I will explain what's coming into my channel and why this season might be affected because of it, just because I will not have time for a while. So I will be like Matt, the boy who had 7 and all that. He is, his things changed in his life and he couldn't do a lot for a while. So
I'd like to make an official vote for Mrs. Comics 89 to if you need her to step in for something, that I'd like to put an official vote for Mrs. Comics 89. I've never seen her. I've heard her in the background several times over the years, but never seen her. But yeah, put her in there.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I'll have to see if she's really willing to do it. So, who knows? She will definitely be a clean slate when it comes to these. To a lot of things, she's like going, I don't know who this character is, or I don't know what these guys can do. So she might be the complete blank slate of, all right, start going, because I'm just gonna sit here going, love my wife, but she doesn't know this this stuff like I do. So that's the best way to say it.
See how it goes. My vote's in. I put my vote in.
Awesome.
You do a straw poll for it.
Yeah. Well, I still think that I still have if she does do it, I still think that she needs to get support like John or someone else like who can just help move things along like Comicgories.
The problem with John's Comments with Kids is that he's my Clark Kent. So obviously that makes me Superman. We can't be on the stream at the same time. It'll break the illusion. So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's kick us. Sorry, I got something cut my throat there for a second. So we'll end the show now. My dinner is waiting for me. It might be getting cold by now. So I will see you guys for next round, whenever that will happen. Who knows? We might get these episodes pounding out fairly quickly if it's all possible. And if not, they'll come out when they come out, because I do not plan to end the knockout. This has been so much fun doing this debate show, and I do not want it to end no matter what comes up in my life. It just might slow down, but it will not stop if I have anything to say about it. So,
Absolutely.
Justin, again, thank you very much. Talk to me a little bit after the show here. Like I said, I would love to put your name down on the list for next season.
Yes, please.
In which case, because we work things out, and there's always the possibility, like I said, of exhibition matchups. Like in 2 weeks, you're free on Thursday, I'm free on Thursday, you got a friend, and you guys always wanted to argue, Jane Foster's Thor versus Guy Gardner. You just thought that would be the funnest matchup.
Yeah.
Those exhibition matchups are not part of the regular season like here, but there's little extra fun little things. So, hey, Legion, better late than never. But again, I guess you didn't have time travel ability like these two guys to show up on time. So
he would have voted for the Reverse Flash for sure.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, he's a homer.
He still can, and because he still can, because the voting doesn't officially end. So I might just pop in. Nope, it's still open for about 14
minutes. The results. It's all good. We're not worried about it.
So, yep. The poll's still open, so I just might have to come back up with we had a correction because voting came in.
Well, never mind. Well done.
Awesome. All right. Well, see you guys next time for the next round. We begin round 2 at some point. In fact, let me bring that up here real quick. Wrong button. We'll show that up here. This is what round 1 looks like, minus There. So here you go. We got
Take the comment down. Okay.
So we got Loki versus Magneto for the beginning of round 2. Fun matchup there. Then we got Doctor Doom versus Apocalypse. Ultron versus Mr. Freeze, because Lee Jin brought his DC fan base to vote for Mr. Freeze. Then you got Black Adam versus Venom. I look forward to that fight. 2 guys in black duking it out. Speaking of guys in black, we got Owlman versus Darth Vader. And then Poison Ivy versus Skynet. So we got 12 guys left here. And like I said, if we can actually get these episodes pumping out, like if we don't, if we can get these scheduled once a week, it's possible to get this season done before my plans fully affect. But
the first round's the hardest. That's the longest. It goes pretty quick after that.
Yeah,
tell you what, I'm a little nervous about going up against Magneto in the finale, the championship, because I could see that as a potential difficulty for an all-metal army to go up against Magneto.
I will crush you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drag the show out 5 minutes. Just share the backup is coming, Justin.
Yeah,
we're gonna win. I'm telling you.
That's funny.
I'm not. Well, you got a set time limit, Legion. You got 13 minutes, and I will honor my word. That poll, when it closes, is officially over. So if I pop in round 2 saying things changed, and we have a correct thing. So that's still
fine.
Possible.
That's fine. So, I'm going to take the debate victory. And if any fudgery goes on in the next 13 minutes, that's fine. I'll still watch and have a good time.
Either way, you're welcome back for season 5, because I do like the idea of battle of sexes, men on one side versus women on the other for a who's the best in the middle for a championship matchup. But I also like the idea of Marvel on one side, DC on the other, and then who's going to win at the very end,
that would be tough.
Yeah. Well, we all know Marvel is better. Sorry, Legion.
Oh, did you hear that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh. You got DC has some cool characters like Reverse Flash and all that, but it just doesn't have Spider-Man. Show me Spider-Man in the DC world and I might change my mind.
No. Skynet's in Dark Horse. So I can sit back. We're Dark Horse Comics, so we're okay.
Yeah.
You guys go at it.
Well, I'm going to turn this up because I am hungry and dinner's over there. So I'll see you guys next time on the Knockout. Take care. Happy collecting, everyone.